Hello and welcome. This time we are going to talk about 500.2 Cybersecurity Program. So let's start with 500.2a. It's basically saying that you should design your cybersecurity program to protect the CIA of your information and information systems. And we talked about that in the previous videos. So again, we really need to make sure that we are maintaining the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of those information and information systems that we need to protect. We also mentioned that your cybersecurity program should be based on risk assessments, and that's basically what B is all about. So, B1 says that you have to identify and assess internal and external cybersecurity risks. So, let's recall our topic on risk assessment. We need to identify our threats, vulnerabilities, and the impact, and then you have risks. And remember the formula risks equal threats times vulnerabilities times impact. And remember that you also need to look at your current controls as well as considering the likelihood of the vulnerabilities being exploited because they will really impact your risk. And it's very important that you maintain a risk register where you can document all these risks. So you can review the risks every single year or as needed. So, for example, there is a major change within the organization, and then you can review your risk register after having a risk analysis that's relevant to that major change. And also, it is good to have a GRC tool that would inventory all those risks for you. And then B2 says use defensive infrastructure and implementation of policies and procedures. So this is very important. Your defensive infrastructure would be anything that's included in your security implementations in order to protect your information and information systems. These are people, processes, and technology that protect your network, your servers, your PCs, your corporate mobile devices, your cloud services or cloud resources, and some others. And then you have to have policies and procedures. They're very, very important. So we talked about policies that are basically telling us what we shall do and procedures that are the step-by-step process that are of course related to your policies. And a lot of times you need to make sure that there are procedures written around a specific process because some divisions may not be maintaining their procedures and you will really have to look for those, even though sometimes it will be a pain because some personnel do not like documenting everything. But per Reg 500, you have to have those policies and documented operational procedures. So, for example, what is your process around giving users or your new employees their access? Then you have to document processes like that. And needless to say, you need to have a policy around that. And then B3 through 6, they're just saying that our cybersecurity program should be able to detect cybersecurity events, that we have a process to respond to those events to mitigate the impacts, of course, and that we have the ability to recover from those events, and that we fulfill our regulatory obligations. So, for example, an event could be like receiving a phishing email. So, it may become a successful phishing attack or it may not be. But you have to have a good tool that will detect those phishing emails coming in and block them from getting into users' inboxes. And if, unfortunately, an employee clicks on a phishing email that got passed through your security system, you have to have something that detects the click and that will raise an alert so that your cybersecurity team will be able to address the incident. The response process done by your cybersecurity team should also be documented in your incident response plan, and that document should also include your reporting obligations. And C talks about for Class A companies to design and conduct independent audits of its cybersecurity program based on risk assessments. So, again, these audits need to be free from bias and auditors need to be independent and objective. So again, you only have to worry about that if you are a Class A company, and if you are not, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you're a Class A company and if you really want the highest level of assurance, it is really best to get external auditors, as they would be the most independent and objective auditors. And then we have D. A covered entity may meet the requirements of this part by adopting the relevant and applicable provisions of a cybersecurity program maintained by an affiliate. So, for example, at the company I'm working for right now, we have affiliates. But we maintain the cybersecurity program, and our affiliates can adopt our program. Also, our legal department does not have to file a separate document to prove compliance for the company's affiliates. And then E is related to D. All documentation and information relevant to the covered entity's cybersecurity program, including the relevant and applicable provisions of a cybersecurity program maintained by an affiliate and adopted by the covered entity, shall be made available to the superintendent upon request. So again, if you have an affiliate, you don't have to maintain a separate cybersecurity program. You can just adopt your affiliate's program. And those related documentation should be available to the superintendent upon request. And this just shows us another reason why we need to keep documentation. And that is it for this video. I will see you in the next one.